Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from Mail Fuzz TV. I am Peter, and I am joined with a returning that was supposed to be Matt.
I was here last week, I think.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't here last week. It's been a long week.
Do you know what? I like that I made a complete flub at that opening, and somehow Matt just came in right after and made everyone forget. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
It's called helping you out.
Connor's also here.
I am. I was here last week, though, so it's not a big deal.
You were. By the way, it's almost Red Hood time.
Balls. I forgot about that.
We got a new thing to introduce. We got a new thing from David Short, one of our loyal patrons, made us some new buttons for the video. For the audio people, this means next to nothing, but for the video people, they get some new buttons. So Connor's shoddy old handwritten thing has been replaced with this wonderful button, which is I heart RH with the heart making a Red Hood face, which is deeply amusing. And then,
if anybody that works for a t-shirt printing company, Connor needs one of these.
Matt, don't say this. You're going to regret anything you say about this one. You're going to regret in about 5 seconds. So I would maybe hold back on the t-shirt making
No,
ideas.
because if it was a t-shirt of this button, I would totally rock it. So I cross a certain word out.
And for Matt, we have a silhouette of someone who may or may not be his imaginary friend, and it says, "Have you seen my imaginary friend, Connor Kent?" Question.
He's not imaginary. He's real. I'll show you all.
I don't want Matt to threaten me with his imaginary friend ever again. Thank you very much. But yeah, so we got some new buttons. That's a thing. So when these two say something out of line, button will go
Also,
up.
everyone feel free to suggest what Peter's should be, and we'll get one of those for him.
Oh, I don't feel like we need one from me. I feel like that's overkill. I feel like that kills the joke. It's funny with two. Once there's three of them, it's like, nah, you're overdoing it now.
The audience wants a third.
It'll be fun.
I wouldn't.
If we create a button that went over Connor's face that gave him a red hood.
Oh, that would be funny.
I mean, I can avoid it by just, moving.
Yeah, but still.
Hold on, let me test that. Hunt. I can do this live. I think I can do it live. Oh, I can do it live. Hold on, here we go. Right.
Bingham.
I'm just gonna move. He's following me.
I can keep track of you, Car. I can follow you all day. But I'll put it back. Alright, the audio people are getting none of this, so I'm going to stop this right now.
Hey, we're back. Stop playing
I'm
with the toys.
destroying everything.
But that was good fun. So, here we are. We talk about DC Comics. What's coming up on this week's show? We have Detective Comics 959. We have Action Comics 982. Wonder Woman number 25. The final Greg Rucka issue of Wonder Woman. We have The Flash number 25. Batgirl number 12. The final issue of Supergirl being Super number 4. Teen Titans number 9. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 23, Batman Beyond number 9, Batman the Shadow number 3, and then Connor did check out one of the Looney Tunes crossovers because he'd heard good things about it, and that is Batman / Elmer Fudd special number 1. So that's what's coming up on this week's show. We don't have any news actually this week, so we can almost get straight to books after a little bit of small talk, as if moving Connor's face around with the Red Hood logo wasn't small talk enough. But Matt, you weren't here to make fun of Marvel Legacy last week. Would you like to weigh in on that?
No. It's funny how you're calling it Legacy, but you're not doing anything to push it forward. You're kind of going backwards. Yeah.
If anything,
they're
not going backwards enough.
There was something this week where there was a retailers conference thing where they hinted that there'll be a proper relaunch, presumably in the following year. So this is nothing. They're renumbering things, retitling a few things. There's, I think, 3 new books, maybe 4. That's it. And then they'll relaunch again in a year. And the question is then, do they go back to relaunch it with new number 1s and ignore this whole thing? Or do they just... Why not do it?
I'm going to cut them off at the head. I'm going to ignore it all right now, except for, Jason Aaron's books. That's it.
Which happens to be the main Legacy thing.
Well, it's the one shot. They're not Rebirth. But if it's not a reboot, then it's just like an excuse for Aaron and Ribic to work together again. So I don't get it. I'm past the point of caring. I miss caring about the other company. But with this much good DC books, as you know, every week we talk about, it's just easier to focus on the positive versus the negative.
It is, but it's fun to make fun of them a little bit. So, also, I like how he said no, just and it still gave us a few minutes of him complaining about Legacy, which amuses me greatly. Yeah, they put out a big list of all the titles this week, and I sort of glanced through them, and I laughed a little bit that Spider-Man's returning numbering is 789. That gave me a little chuckle, and then and that was about it.
I'm almost surprised they didn't just wait till they hit a key number. Like with that one, I think they're pumping out Spidey twice a month, right? So 6 months they can just come back with 800.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. I think there was one that just hit. I think it was Hulk. Is it's coming back at 701. Like they just missed the. Maybe it's a different book, but I think it was Hulk.
Right.
They just missed the landmark.
That's annoying.
Yeah. But
tells you how rushed and unplanned this was when they're missing a number like that.
it is worth mentioning because I actually, this is kind of sad and sort of a window into my nerdiness here, but I do kind of roughly keep track of some of the big DC books in terms of what their original numbers are at, and Batman and Superman are both getting relatively close to 800. Not million miles away, so I don't know if they'll maybe make a big deal of it. Even though I don't think they'll renumber them, but I wonder if, remember how in Detective 27 was actually, or no, not 27, they did a special for that, but they did one for 900, but it was still whatever the numbering was in 52. I can see them doing maybe something like that. I was like, oh, this is actually issue 800 of Batman, kind of thing.
Depends how close it falls to the 50th issue, because presumably, obviously, 25 is oversized. I assume 50 will be as well.
Yeah.
Depends if they want another big one in that time.
It'd be cool if they kept the same numbering right now, and then just put underneath it also, not a legacy number.
Yeah, almost in brackets.
Yeah, just so we know, because it's my collector mentality that I hate renumbering like that, because then where does it go when you're organizing them? Do you keep it going with the volume, or
Do you mean on every issue, or do you just mean the 800th issue?
Well, just the 800th, because...
Well, I think for the 800th, I think you could just do just a sentence, it's issue, whatever number it is, and then at the bottom just say, special 800th issue of Batman. I think that would do the trick. Yeah. You'd know what it is. So, yeah. But no, it's just funny with the Marvel renumbering, because at this point, Amazing Spider-Man's went back to number 1 5 times, maybe, in the last 10 years.
It's funny that we have Detective and Action that are back to their original numbering, but Spider-Man's on volume 17 by now.
The problem with Spider-Man, when they go back to whatever the legacy number is, it counts so many different titles. It wasn't just called Amazing Spider-Man, and then
Amazing Fantasy and all, yeah.
Right. Whereas Batman 800 will probably just be the title that's been Batman.
Yeah. Obviously, they had 52 issues that were renumbered. And New 52, but otherwise, it's all been one name. Yeah.
Exactly. Although, so it's kind of just strange.
I do have to throw DC under the bus a little bit here, because one of the most annoying things they've ever done, or one of the most annoying renumbering things that's ever happened, was DC. And that was when they started Superman Volume 2, but kept Volume 1 going, but changed the name of Volume 1, rather than just giving Volume 2 the new name. So we have this weird thing where Volume 1 kept its numbering, but changed its title, but it's annoying. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
I hate you.
It's stupid, but okay. Alright, that's enough numbering talking bollocks. Let's talk about books. Let's go on to this week's premiere issues. Starting with Detective Comics 959, written by James Tynion IV and art by Alvaro Martinez. This was obviously picking up from the Zatanna cliffhanger of last issue. More so, it obviously advanced the Asriel plot and the Ascalon kind of thing that's going on with this evil armor that's coming after them, this robot, this AI. Also, so it advanced that. It was definitely the aftermath issue and setting up next things. But I thought there was a lot of good beats in here that set some interesting things up. Dr. Victoria October came in to fix up what was his name? Nomaz, yeah. the last surviving dude of the Order of Saint Dumas who showed up to.
I kind of
warn
have the feeling
Azrael.
that we're going to get a reestablishment of the Order just under new circumstances.
I can see that.
By the end
Probably.
of this. You know, why else keep Nomaz, especially with this connection to Azrael? Well, Jean Paul, because this Azrael's Ascalon now.
I'm just gonna put it out there. The Jean Paul and the actual Azrael stuff is probably the least interesting part of this story, and maybe the entire run so far for me.
I do like how it's playing into the larger story though, because at the end of the League of Shadows stuff, we had Batman cursing magic, and so he reaches out to Zatanna.
Yeah.
To get his reestablishment magic, and that scene that kicks off the issue of those two in my hometown was fantastic. I love when an artist can actually pay homage to actual geography, and so it looks proper, and then to smash that against later in the issue in Gotham, I loved it.
Yeah, it contrasts between the different cities and how Vegas very bright, Gotham very sort of dark and grungy. I mean, obviously there's still some neon lighting, but it's different beast. Yeah, it was a lot of setup. I did like the scene with Doctor October with Nomaz, particularly from Clayface's point of view, where she's kind of bantering with them, and she's kind of, she's a kind of a quick talker, and that Clayface's whole thing where they sort of reiterate that little column A, little column B thing, where she's like, oh, why are you asking about this? You wouldn't want me to be trying to fix your condition, would you, Clayface? And he's like, oh, little column A, little column B. So it was some fun banter from some of the characters in that way. I think what this issue is, it's not a standout issue of the run by any means, but I think it's just a solid example of, now this is why we like this book, because it's all a different kid. Because there's a scene with Batwoman and Batwing go off to his company, and it's just a bit of teasing. Like, he's talking about the actual technology behind the whole AI and how it's very different coding from actual computer coding, and how it's almost like a different language to computer coding.
Yeah.
And it is setting up some of the sort of the mystery behind it and some of the threat. But it's just the idea that we have all these different Bat characters all kind of doing their own, all connects, but they're all kind of doing their own thing in this issue. And Batman's asking Zatanna for help, and he's like, oh yeah, you once offered to help me with something, and then obviously there's that touching moment where he brings out the Tim hologram. He's like, yeah, I've already lost so much.
Yeah, and it's pushing that part of the story forward too, because we know from solicits that detective is going into that realm, right? That was a detective that we're going to see.
Comic-Tober, September actually. We're getting an arc that sort of starts to hit on that stuff, but.
So it's writing for the trade, but it's also writing issue to issue, which I think is a skill that not many writers can nail nowadays, because you either do one or the other, and they're kind of like standalone stories, or they're just these big like John's writes for the trade better, I think, than he writes for single.
Yeah.
But Tynion, however we're gonna say it, is just he's kind of nailing both right now.
Tiny in the fourth.
Tynion.
Tiny man.
James the Fourth, as I like to call him. But yeah, it was a really great issue, and the art. I like the art. Again, we talked about the contrasting cities, but especially all the characters kind of have a nice, not a close up, but we get a nice, moment with them not doing actiony stuff.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite things about ensemble books is the downtime between things. It's one of the things that I thought Justice League was really lacking when we were reading it. It's just, I kind of want an issue of them just lounging around the Watchtower, one day. And this isn't quite that, but it has that kind of feel to it where it's them regrouping after big stuff's went down and kind of... And to go back to your point about the art and the contrast in the cities, I do actually like how... probably my favourite scene of the book is the scene with Batman and Zatanna towards the end, just from an art perspective because of the rain. It feels just completely different from the opening scene.
I love how the colours are so muted as well compared to, in Vegas. It's very bright and flashy, as you'd expect.
Where is this
grim.
This does have a brightness to it, but it's all moonlight. It's all very one-tone kind of glow as opposed to the sort of the bright, colourful...
It's kind of just this dull blue and white, whereas Vegas, you've got the reds and the oranges.
Well, it also it plays off of them as characters, because they're kind of young and fresh-faced and bright in that Vegas scene. but when they're in Gotham, they've seen the world and they've seen what it can do. So it's washed out and muted.
It's also kind of the light that's kind of unforgiving. Like when someone's in this light, in this type of moonlight, almost fluorescent kind of shade, it's not very like no one likes being in that light. Like, you always look crap on camera under those conditions. So it's kind of this unflattering look to it. In a nice
I think
way.
also it's more of a natural light as well. Like I said, it's kind of moonlight, and it feels much more natural compared to Vegas, where everything's it's a
manufactured.
cover-up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is what we want to be, and then this is what the world actually is now.
Yeah. Vegas is very pretty, but it was manipulated to be that way, as opposed to what the way that things actually are. So no. So this obviously we end with the cliffhanger that Azrael's suit kind of wakes up on its own, and is like, yeah, you thought you were in control, not really. Yeah. So.
I'm not particularly interested in that side of things. It's definitely the weakest part for me.
I kind of agree with that to an extent. I don't know. I wouldn't call it weak though. Like, I'm having enough fun with it that I'm like, I'm
I
down.
think the problem is I just don't really care. It's fine, but I don't care about anything that's happening in that plot yet. Obviously, hopefully I'll change. But
I'm intrigued about what it did to Jean-Paul to kind of fry him a little bit. But other than that, like this big killer AI, you can take it or leave it. I'm much more interested in his character development.
For me, it's not like a super interesting plot in terms of like with the plot itself, but in terms of what it's putting the rest of the characters through, I'm kind of into it. And I think it's interesting enough. I think it works enough. There's nothing about it that feels... sometimes a plot can feel like, this just feels super forced. It feels whatever. This feels like, he set the seeds. This was planted a while ago. We're going through it now, and it's like it's fine.
Like I say, it's fine. I don't really care about it.
You used to have a knack for sounding more negative than anyone else, Connor, when you just don't care about something.
I think it's because I find that worse than when I find something bad. Because it's just this awkward middle ground where I don't care, and it's not interesting enough to either way to make me hate it or like it. It just exists, and that's
I'm not in that same place as you. I like it more than you do. Like I don't love it, but I'm enjoying it well enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. So I guess that's Detective. Nice simple issue that. That'll take us on to Action Comics 982, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Jack Herbert. We were a little bit mixed on the last issue. I was a bit more critical on it than you guys were. Superman obviously went blind. The Revenge Squad sort of geared up. And we find out this issue they're coming to the fortress. Superman's still blind. John and Lois are at the fortress with Superman. They're trying to figure out how to fix him. And basically the villains all kind of roll up to the front door and start trying to break in. It's kind of really simple in that sense. And we have the big cliffhanger, big epic cliffhanger at the end, where the rest of the Super family show up to help fight. Which I did enjoy this issue a lot more than the last one. There's a key simplicity to Superman being, because now that we've got over the kind of, I thought the reveal of him being blind is a little bit bullshit, but now that he's actually he's blind, we have to cope with this. How do we deal with this? And the rest of the family show up, especially since like Kalex makes the call. He's like, right, I don't want to use the word assemble because we associate that with a certain rival team, but like that kind of had that feeling to it. So that final splash page of because the idea that Supergirl swoops in the previous page to get him out of harm's way because she's the one that's fast enough, and then it's just it's all of them there, and it's that just the core idea that Lex is at the front saying, "No, he is ours. Back the f up."
It's kind of like the big brothers. Like no one's allowed to beat up the little brother but me.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, but and I like that we have this assembly of false Supermen with the Superman family. Because you look at the Revenge Squad and 3/4 of them look like Superman.
Yeah, you got Eradicator who's got the symbol on. You've got Cyborg Superman who's got the symbol on. Yeah, and then Zod's
Kryptonian.
Yeah, he doesn't have the House of L on him, but he's got his symbol, so it's... Yeah.
Exactly. And then you have Mongol, who's a big, nasty-looking dude, and...
I like how... Because early on, the villains are all sort of arguing about, okay, why are we doing this? Zod's not wanting to take orders. And I like how when I think it's Henshaw who's like saying, "Oh, this is what everyone's going to get out of this." And I like how Mongols is just, "Oh, you get another war world." He's like, "Yes, finally." Not had enough war worlds.
Exactly.
It's been too long. No, I had more fun with this one. I think the setup of the villains has been fun. It's not maybe been as sort of deep or as menacing as I'd have liked a team of this caliber to have been formed by. It feels a little bit more simpler than I'd have liked it. However, if it's all leading to like the super family coming together to fight as a team, then yeah, I'm having fun with it in that sense. So I can't complain too much.
No, I agree with that. It's fun. My biggest problem with the issue is the art change for the fight section. It's a different artist, I think. I'm pretty sure anyway, because it completely changes over. Let me look at the credits page. Yeah, there's a different artist listed. Yeah. It doesn't say the pages, but I assume it's that bit.
Funnily enough, it doesn't credit a second artist on the front page, I don't think.
No, you're right, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only doing like 3 pages, I think.
Because because typically I get the names off Comixology, but typically to double check them when it's someone. If I see something that I'm not expecting to see, I'll look at the front cover and see who's credited there to match it up.
Yeah.
So if there's a second artist like that who's not credited on the front, that'll be why it's.
Yeah, they only do about 3 pages by the look of it, but it really sticks out as a change in style for the big fight moment.
Just wait until we get to Flash. There's like 4 artists on it.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
But they handle that better.
I think. They do. Don't get me wrong, they do. Yeah. But I remember getting to that when I was doing the names and I get my document up and I have these names ready just so I can rattle them off at a moment's notice. And I got to Flash and I'm like, 4 names? Wasn't that many, was it? And then I looked at the front cover and it's like, nah, big list of goddamn. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
4 artists.
Yeah.
But it was a fun issue. Obviously, the ending is a highlight.
Definitely.
There's some key things dropped here, like Calyx drops kind of a bomb in the middle here, where he mentions that the battle armor, it healed him once after the Doomsday fight, but like we can't do that again. Like that was a one-time clause.
Yeah, it drained the battery basically.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe it put some, like, if he fights something that big again, there is a chance that he could die and stay dead. I mean, we know that. I mean, obviously, from a meta perspective of looking at it as like, oh, they're never going to do that. We know they're never going to do that. They'll always find a way out.
Because it's the only way we'll get John to take up the mantle at some point.
Not necessarily. Superman could just pass it to him. He
could.
He's not Batman, where it's like, no, this is my mission, and he's
I
go down
feel
swinging.
I feel like it's more of an editorial perspective where to stop them just going back to it at any moment, going, oh, let's call in the big guns.
Yeah,
they just want to get him out of the picture if they're ever going to do that.
Yeah, because at least with Batman, there is a point where he's just going to physically age, where he's just going to have to concede that, all right, okay, I can't quite do the flips and stuff like I used to. I'm going to have to let Damien and Dick and Tim kind of run wild with us.
Or in an alternate future Terry.
More on that later. In Batman Beyond.
But yeah, I could see Superman retiring, but being like, John's getting into trouble, but he shows up to help at one point, Yeah. Because what dads do. Dads never let you, at least mine might. They won't let you fail. They won't let you fail intentionally. They'll kind of keep a hands around there. So, but I think, it's a place where Tim's been a teenager for 20 plus years. He was just going to college right before the what was their name? Kane's guys.
Colony.
Right before they attacked.
All right, okay. I wasn't sure what Matt was asking for there, so I was just kind of waiting for part of the answer.
Yeah. Connor got it.
I really like, in terms of the art, I like the full page splash where Superman flies out of the fortress. With one minor criticism is that for some reason his red boots aren't on that page. I don't know why. But other than that, it looks quite good. Actually, I really like the following page as well, with Kara getting the message. Because we don't see them all get a message, we just see Kara. Which I kind of like, because it's kind of the idea that Supergirl is the one who's like the next in line in terms of just lineage, in terms of
Also, just she's the one it communicates to, so she can round them up from there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She had that orb that he gave her,
which I like. Is the thing from the movie? It's the orb from the movie, the Supergirl movie, the Omahedron.
Yeah.
It's that thing, which made me laugh because I just think of the movie when I see that. Also, I like her opening the shirt and her hair's like mid-change, like it's gradually changing to the blonde. That's pretty cool. But no, I'm more fun with this issue. Like you say, the art does change during the action, but otherwise, I did like the art. I specifically like how Herbert draws Zod's goatee. There's something just kind of gruff about it that I like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's angular, right?
It reminds me more of like a biker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, do you know what the face reminds me of? It reminds me of like the type of like scruffy goatee you might see in a western, like a cowboy would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's like he's got the goatee, but the rest of it's not shaved properly. It's just like a goatee with a shadow with the rest of the face. It's got that kind of gruffness.
Because he hasn't had time.
I think that's one of my bigger problems with the art when it changes. I still like the other art for the most part. It's just a weird change, but Zod's facial hair changes completely, and that is just unacceptable.
I mean, I guess the only criticism I could have is that Supergirl does look a bit older than she does in her own book because obviously the art style is very different. But that's about it. Keaton as well. Actually, Keaton looks kind of old as well. But I guess Herbert's thing is just that everyone kind of looks middle aged or whatever.
Yeah,
because he looks quite bulky. Keaton, look at him. He's got a good bulkiness to him in that last page.
That hand that is showing, like, look how much he's tensing.
He's gonna mess somebody up.
Yeah. He's done some serious time with that hand. So so it's a fun issue. He's thinking of Lacey Lan or whatever the reporter is in that book. Is that right, Lacey Lan? Am I right? I'm waiting for Matt to agree with me. He's just sitting there and
a long time.
out of space.
So wait, say that again.
Is it Lacey Lan, the reporter in New Superman?
Lonnie Lang. Yeah.
It's not Lanny Lang. I know that for a fact.
No.
Lady Lan. It's Lady Lan.
Lady Lan.
There you go. We got it in the end. But no. I don't think it's the. It doesn't quite have the weight that I'd maybe want this story to have, but it is fun, and having the team come together at the end is quite exciting. So, solid issue. That'll take us on to Wonder Woman number 25, the final issue in this run from Greg Rucka. Liam Sharp and Bilquis Evely are both here for art as well, which is quite nice because it gives it a send off from sort of both sides of the timeline, as it were. Even though it is all present day, so it's all set after the events of the last couple issues. And it's called Perfect. It's basically a sort of epilogue to the series where Wonder Woman's kind of pissed. I laughed out loud at the start of this issue because the Justice League were indeed fighting the Shaggy Man.
I love it because it looks like they're fighting Bigfoot.
And they even comment on, didn't Aquaman deal with this? Like, well, we thought he did, but clearly he's useless, so now we're fighting him. It's kind of the gist of it. But yeah, basically Wonder Woman obliterates them with a show of force when she shows up, and Batman and Superman are like, I think Diana's kind of pissed about something. Maybe we should go over there and talk to her.
You have a talk with her.
Yeah. And I could almost, like, if this was a bro comedy, I could almost see the scene of them walking over and just sort of whispering, like, right, don't ask her if it's the time of the month, she'll just punch you.
Go.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Careful what you say.
Clark, you can do it. You can take the punch. I can't take the punch. Like, you do it.
Yeah. Use that excuse for everything, Bruce.
You said that, but then he'd be like, Bruce would be like, nah, I can't let Clark do better than me. I'm going to be the one to do it. I'll take the risk.
Let me just break out my steel reinforced with like kryptonite and like adamantium, even though that's not in this world.
You know all the armored batsuits that we see every so often. He'll just walk up to him one of those. Yeah,
it'll be like that scene from Age of Ultron where Iron Man's Hulk suit comes in.
Launches it.
It'll just be like this armor suit will just land in the desert, and he'll just get into like, right, I'm ready to take the punch. Hey Diana, have you put on weight? Brace yourself.
Someone's bloated.
Oh dear. Obviously the art during this. See when she's like launching Shaggy Man like past the sun, and you just get the rays of light coming past. Gorgeous stuff. Yeah. Looks great.
Well, I like when she knocks him down. You can see the impact. Like she's hitting hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
fantastic.
So Batman and Superman make a point of getting her a little bit later after she goes to visit Kale, because we get a little wrap up to her where there's lawyers trying to like take her down for her part and everything, and her lawyers are basically like, "Hey, you don't have a warrant, go away," and basically,
you guys can't do nothing.
Yeah,
and even in the poison team's there, Maru. So they're still in play, which I like seeing.
But her and Wonder Woman have this great final confrontation of this run where Wonder Woman again shows up at her balcony, kind of like we've seen her do before, and it's like, right, I'm here to make you or ask you to find Barbara Ann and fix her, turn her back. You did this to her, and Kale's like, no. It's like this defiant no, and she brings up some valid points. Is that Barbara Ann kind of willingly did it and doesn't seem to want to be changed back anymore. But it's
but still, she only did that to help.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I get Wonder Woman again. This is all about her being angry after we've seen that she was this emissary of compassion and love. I mean, that's how she trapped the gods.
Yeah, well, she feels deceived. She feels like she's been mistreated because of them lying to her, because of it, all that, and how everything. And she can never go home again. Like, she feels like she's been just downright deceived. So Batman and Superman ultimately sort of try and have a chat with her. They're like, okay, right, the rest of the league's gone. Let's call her out here in the desert once more and try and cheer her up, find out what's going on. And basically, like, you're angry, why are you angry? And she explains to them, and they're like, well, you can talk to them, right? Talk to the gods and find out what's going on. Like, why not? Do it. Like, you can fix this. And I kind of like this. Because she explains what happens, and Superman asks what gods it was, and Batman's like, no, that's the wrong question. It's like, like, I like the idea that even though this is something that Batman doesn't really understand the world of, that he still tackles it with problem solving. Right, okay, but you have options. You did this, and
right.
Yeah, I like that side of it.
I love how Clark's just sat down during all this.
Yeah.
Bruce, no chance. He stood there like he wouldn't dare. But Clark's just sitting down. It's like, yeah, go on. I'll put my feet up.
I think it's a rule of Batman, unless he's in the cave at the Batcomputer. But I don't think out in public Batman would ever sit down whilst in the uniform.
No, I don't think he would.
I like him just crouching in like an action pose. Just.
Oh yeah, he'll crouch. He'll crouch in a gargoyle. That's different. No.
I just mean like in the middle of the desert. Like some people. They're just like, I gotta stretch my quads out and. I also like that Superman tells her, you're good at hope. It's always been kind of your thing, and that coming from Superman is a nice sentiment.
Yeah, that's your thing.
They're trying to cheer up.
It's not my thing. I'm Superman. I mean, literally, I have hope stamped on my chest.
Yeah.
But that's your thing.
Exactly. He goes, you've always been good at it in that panel, but I like that they're not coming to her as Superman and Batman. They're coming to her as friends.
Yeah, it very neatly harkens back to that part of the annual that Rucka wrote. Yeah.
Well, I haven't checked, but is this the same place?
It may be.
That?
Yeah.
Because I thought that's what it was, but I didn't actually check.
Unknown part of the desert, Nevada. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense that that's the same place. Steve sets up because basically Steve's like, all right, you keep living in places that aren't really homes. You're living at the embassy, which was a nice little drop reference Steve's old run. And you're living here, you're living there. So him and the guys set up a house for her. Like, this is your house. You've got a home now. And he set up a romantic thing. And there's this bittersweet moment where she says, "Oh, I'm dealing with something now. I'll be later. Sorry, Steve." And you see that he's got roses and he's got wine ready, and it's this sort of like, oh, he's set this up, and she's obviously been very distant. She's emotionally in a really bad place right now, and this is Batman and Superman of like, right, go and talk to the gods, find out what's going on.
Yep.
And she does. She goes and talks to the creepy old lady who is there to represent said gods.
Yep, like an old crone. Yeah. Well, it's an older lady and a younger lady, and then Diana, who's like the midpoint. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and she's got the old staff, the old wizard staff that you often see these figures. And she's basically upset. She's deceived. Blah blah blah. And basically she's reminded, well, yeah, but you're still, think of all the good you've done, all the good that's come from all of this. You are still you. You've always been you. No matter if there has been changes, the one constant that's never changed is who you are and what you've done. And it almost felt like a meta comment on like, oh, how many times have your origin been messed with? How many times has all that been messed with? But ultimately, the core of who you are and what you do for everyone else has always stayed the same.
Right.
You know, there's that great point. Obviously, it's something that a lot of writers do with Wonder Woman is they like to throw in the word wonder at a key point. It's like,
Yeah.
why not? Like she says, think of the wonders you've seen and the wonder you've incurred. So it's,
The exact words are, "The girl who wondered has seen wonders."
there you go.
And
That was the line.
yeah. And I think in any other hands it could be super goofy, but I think Rucka nails it because of the context of it all.
Well,
You know?
I think what's great about that is that it kind of justifies in retrospect. Not that it needed justification. It worked
Right.
fine as it was,
Sure.
but it adds extra justification to the fact that we started this with a year one story alongside the present day stuff, because it harkens back to her origin, which is what she's referencing here. She's referencing the girl who wondered, which is how she started, and where she's
Right.
journeyed from through all this. It kind of encapsulates her entire journey up until this point. And then the gods basically give her a lasso back because it's her tool to use. Like, they had no intention of taking it from her.
I'm going to put it this way, they Harry Potter it. It's the Mirror of Erised, is what they do here.
Yeah. That's spot on.
I totally get that reference.
You've seen the first film, right, Pete?
I've seen all the movies, but I can't remember them. They're kind of forgettable.
Yes, so basically in the mirror it shows you your heart's desire. And basically at the end of that movie, spoiler alert for a almost 20-year-old movie, that's been seen by millions and loved by millions, but basically the only way to get the Sorcerer's Stone is to basically wish it into your pocket. Like, only somebody that could want it and not use it.
Yeah, you have to be like pure of
Get
heart,
it.
basically.
Yeah. And so here is she looks down into her reflection and, you know, zing, it's there.
Yeah,
Cute,
it's
cute,
the exact same moment as it just appearing in his pocket.
Uh-huh.
But
So,
I've got a lot of
It's a
chuckle
great
from that.
page because obviously they have the reflection in the bottom half and it kind of mirrors what's going on. You see
Yeah.
her smiling both sides. It's really nice. And she sees the animals once again, the representatives of the gods, and it's
That's it. My favorite moment is in the first reflection where you see the owl, but you don't see it at the top.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea that they're there, but it's not like revealing themselves yet. And obviously,
Yeah.
the next page, she actually gets to see them once again. We get to see that ridiculous deer with the really long antlers. And
Which, that has to be Artemis. That's the only one that it can be.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. But that's a stag, isn't it? And Artemis is always a
Yeah.
doe.
Yeah, but she was the goddess of the hunt, and you don't hunt doe. You
No.
hunt the stag.
You're right, but she's
So,
never portrayed as a
It's
stag.
not in my brain. It's that it has to be, because everyone else there is represented, unless it's
Yeah.
Apollo. But then why would you leave out Artemis?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
So
so our final scene. She's felt rejuvenated. She feels like she's over her hissy fit, essentially, to boil it
Well,
down
that's
to
it.
really.
This is it. She smiles for basically the first time all issue.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
finally finds her smile again, and she goes home to her new house, and has a romantic moment with Steve. Is basically what it boils down to. There's all scene with banter, which is it's all very sweet, but ultimately it boils down to they have a romantic moment, and we have that final page spread of them lying in the bed together. And you know, because sometimes obviously comics like to save the title of the issue for the end. So, you know, because it has that moment at the end where it's like, no, this is what it kind of meant. And it's like, so it's perfect, obviously, as the lasso, but perfect also. It's kind of like, yeah, like, your life has kind of become this.
Yeah, things have finally worked out.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was a very.
It's like a titling of the run.
It was yeah.
Perfect.
It was a very sweet epilogue to a great run, which, you know, 25 issues.
I keep thinking that it's been the other one since I read it on Wednesday. You know, the title pretty much accurately describes the run and the issue as well.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, this is about her getting over everything she's went through in this run. It's kind of accepting that it was all for something, it all meant something. It wasn't meaningless.
Yeah.
And
Well, she knows the truth now, and that's her thing. I mean, Superman might think it's hope, but it's really the truth. And she has it. She can't go home. And even though she can't go home, she's going to make the best of it. And because that's why she left. Just to make the world a better place. So,
yeah. So, there you go. There you have it. That was the end of the run that we've been praising pretty much the whole time. Pretty much since we started the show.
Yeah.
yeah. Except for that Rebirth issue, which we're all still kind of down on, but
Yeah,
it
Rebirth
rebounded
issue
nicely.
kind of sucked, but yeah, the rest of it's been fantastic. So no, there you go. That is Rucka's Wonder Woman run. It came to a close. It's all done. So what will issue 26 bring? How will we feel about it? Well,
I mean, I keep seeing the preview page at the end. Well, the cover that
cover,
they're advertising, and I'm like, yeah, I like the look of this. I'm like, okay, I'm down.
well, we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we will.
So, as I say, this is the first time I knew. There's not a new run per se, because we know it's changing after 5 issues, and then it's changing again after another 5. So we know we've got a couple of in-between ones here, but it's the first time that one of the main books has changed its teams.
It's the first proper creative shake-up.
Yeah. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've had
'Cause
fill-ins
we had-
for an issue, but nothing.
Yeah, and we had the Superwoman change, but this is the first on a major book.
And even that, it's like, well, it changed after 7 issues. That's basically starting with a mini and then getting to the main run, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so there you go. That's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 25, end of an epic run. So that'll take us on to the Flash number 25, Joshua Williamson writing, and then we have the art team of Carmine D. Giandomenico, Neil Googe, Howard Porter, and Ryan Sook.
Yeah.
That's a lot of names.
I'm just going to come out and say I think there's too many artists on this book. I like that they at least separate them for the various segments,
Yeah,
I like that.
so it
Yeah, we have-
doesn't feel as jarring.
Yeah, we
but
have a-
I don't
we-
think
We have a flashback from Flash's perspective, which is the Googe section. We have a flashback from Thawne's perspective, which I think is the Porter section. And then obviously most of the main stuff is Giandomenico. Where's the Ryan Sook stuff specifically?
I think that's the. Oh man, I want to say it was the future that he goes to, where he goes to the Flash Museum.
No,
Those couple pages.
I think maybe some
Was
of the
that
pages,
Giandomenico?
but a lot of it was Giandomenico. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was mixed in with the Porter or Googe sections.
Yeah.
And it wasn't super noticeable.
So I'm just looking at the credits page. I don't see Porter. I just see Googe and Sook.
Maybe it's just Sook.
Maybe that's just Sook.
Where's Porter? Porter did the variant cover.
No,
Is
maybe
that
that's
where
why.
he-
Maybe that's why I was crediting Comixology then.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's just Giandomenico, Neil Googe, and Ryan Sook. So then we can break that up. Then
Yeah, that makes sense.
Googe
Then
did the-
we had the 2 different flashbacks in each one, which I mean, it does work from the sense that they're both different perspectives of the flashbacks.
Yeah, I just think they're a bit too jarring a shift to do it. Like we've got 3 different artists in one issue, and it's a bit of a longer issue, so it gets away with that a little bit more. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I liked it though because with it playing with timelines and stuff, it shows like it looks the same, but it's slightly off.
Yeah, I didn't have much of
know?
a problem with it. I think because I'm not a big Googe guy. Like, I think his stuff's a little bit too.
That's a fun phrase.
it's a little bit too. I don't know, cartoony in a way that I'm not.
It's the big heads.
It's the big
The
heads.
heads are misproportioned. It's not when they're out of costume. Regular people heads are fine, but in the Flash
Yeah.
suit, the head just looks really big for some reason.
But here, actually, his stuff kind of worked for the flashback where Barry's talking about when he first met Thawne and he was this Flash fan in the future, because it works because it's this
So
weird
wide-eyed.
optimism. Yeah, the optimism of this kid. It kind of fits the style of the art that he's telling here. So it works quite well in that sense. So basically, this shows Barry knows that Iris has been taken to the 25th century. He goes on the old treadmill and he arrives as well. But as we're going, we get this story of when he first met Thawne. And I have to say, I love when it gets to the end of this flashback and it's like, oh, he went too far, he had his own methods. Thawne really hates me. I like that at the end of that page, there's no art at the bottom. It just goes to white and it says, and I have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that tease of like, oh,
It
maybe
lets
we're
it
getting
just
to
sit
it.
there on its own, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially since like I was starting to think, wait, it was starting to explain this here with like what his flashback, and then at the end it's like, no, he doesn't know. He has no idea why he hates him. Like, enough to go back and kill his mother. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually kind of answer it in this issue, which is kind of a big
Yep.
deal. So as much as they're kind of cheating by saying this is the start of this arc, it's not. It's the 3rd issue. They have done something big with it. They've said, no, we're going to take Reverse Flash, we're going to take Thawne, and we're going to explore why does he hate Barry so much. We're going to sort of discover
Yep.
that. And that's when we get to, obviously, his side of the flashbacks. where he explains what happened next. And he tried to like live up to Barry. He tried to keep his promise and become better. He ended up becoming the curator of this Flash museum, which is why.
Well, after he gets busted by Barry for creating crime so he can solve the crime, right?
Yeah, that was in Barry's kind of segment of the flashback.
Well, but it revisited it because that's how he gets the name Professor. Is he goes and he teaches in the jail.
Yeah, he is actually rehabilitated.
Yeah, exactly.
That leads to,
and then that's what allows him to
at least
the Flash Museum.
At least him to work in the museum. Then it leads to him curating the Flash Museum. And so we find out all this, and then he's like, "Oh, I've finally become a better person. I'm going to go back in time and see Barry and show him what I've become.
Let him know that his message got through."
And he wears yellow, and I actually really like this touch. Because that's what the allies of the Flash usually wear, and it's like it does make sense because I think I've often questioned, and I think a lot of people have, is well, it's kind of weird how his villain, his arch nemesis, is a yellow Flash suit. Yet all of the Kid Flashes seem to always wear yellow as well. It's kind of an odd mix, and so it's kind of like a retcon, but it's a retcon I really like. It really makes it click together.
It's something Johns would have done, so Williamson doing it just feels right.
Yeah. So. Because obviously he talks about how the reason why he even got the Speed Force in the first place because he found Barry's original suit and that's what let him sort of tinker with it and whatnot. But he goes back and it turns out the reason why he hates Barry so much, at least partly, is that he sees Barry give a watch to Wally, or original Wally, OG Ginger Wally. He gives him a watch with the every second is a gift in the back, and that was a moment they shared where Barry tells him that line, every second is a gift. And he feels jealousy because it's not just him; that it's Wally, and that this anger, this, and I love this for a lot of reasons. I love it because it's incredibly simple, it's incredibly petty, but it's also the idea
petty.
The idea that Wally's also part of it, the idea that Wally's also part of the cause for his hatred, is kind of glorious to me.
Do you know the moment that sticks out most to me? It's where he says, "It's because you treated me the same as everyone else." Like he thought he'd got preferential treatment. He thought he was special, but Barry is just such a good dude that he treats everyone that well, and that's what hurt.
And that's kind of the bittersweetness of it is that that's what makes him a great hero. Is that he does treat everyone like this, and he can't. And Thawne can't see that. He's like, no, I want special treatment.
No, I want to be. It's like the cable guy, like.
Well, that was a weird reference to make, but go on, yes.
Well, that's the whole crux of that movie is he thinks that they're better friends than they are. And then he intrudes on his life. Although, Jim Carrey's character in that movie is not, kidnapping people and time traveling with them. But if he had Speed Force powers, I could totally see it,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was incredibly petty and it drives that, whereas I like Captain Cold because he's like this blue collar, I'm just doing a job, I have an honor code. This is Zoom's he's twisted in the head. He thought they had a thing. And they they did, but not like he thought. It's a lot of projection, so it makes him unique in the villain set.
Yeah. I didn't realize your sentence was finished. I was waiting for more.
I thought Connor was going to say something. That's why you cut it off.
I said my bit before. I was waiting for you as well. I thought you had more to go with.
Yeah, okay. So basically, we end with Thawne suits up because he's in his Professor Tweed jacket for a good chunk of it, and he suits up and Iris is there, of course, and he drops a hint of who the Flash is, and then he rips off the mask and says, "I'd like you to introduce to you Barry Allen." So that's the big shocking. So Iris knows at the end of this issue. So no, it's a big prominent issue. It's like. Explaining the motivation for Thawne is probably one of the biggest things you could do for the Flash right now, in terms of give us some details and combine that with and I still, by the way, I still love that Thawne remembers the original timeline. Like for him, that is the regular timeline, and he's outside of all this stuff and he's aware of it because the idea that he's like, oh wait, Iris doesn't know yet. What? Like, the idea that that's new to him, because for him,
he's like, I can have some fun with this.
Yeah. So, no. Just good stuff.
I want to give DC in general some credit for making all these issue 25s actually feel important. Because obviously they're making a big deal about their extra size, their anniversary issues, and sometimes that means nothing. You get a backup that's unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But pretty much every single one of these has been a big major point. Either.
Yeah.
You know, the end of a run, start of a major story here. It's not quite the start of the story, no matter what they're saying, but it is a big moment.
Yeah, there's been none where it has just been like a backup, and yeah, look, it's like first issue of Word Jokes and Riddles, huge. Final issue of Rucka's Wonder Woman run, huge. This run, really big, important moment for the Flash. Arguably, Superman's been one of the weakest in the sense that it just kind of felt at the end of that arc. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But most of them have felt kind of big, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes me. I'm looking forward to some of the other 25s that we've got coming up.
Yeah, I mean, are the 25s next, like, for Nightwing and Hal Jordan? Are they big issues? I can't remember.
I assume so.
Yeah, I assume so as well. But at the same time, I don't remember
real
it being in the solicits where it's like, oh, these are special anniversary issues. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention or looking close enough. But
I'll have a quick glance. See if.
Yeah. But yeah, good issues of Flash. I feel like I've said my piece on it, but.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're just killing time now till Connor.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Nightwing at least is a big issue, so
Cool.
I assume the others are.
Cool. So I'd expect all the 25s then to be big issues. So that's fun. Alright, I guess that'll take us on to our next book, which is Batgirl number 12, Hope Larson writing, Eleonora Carlini on art. And this is a hell of an issue. I was not prepared for what this issue was going to be when I cracked it open. Basically, Batgirl's tagging along to like a paranormal investigation, like sort of YouTube show, because she's curious about what's going on. Especially, it's the local gym, it's the Y in Burnside.
Yeah.
That is, and there's something creepy in there that's making people like quit. And the guy who works there tells a story about his pool classes that he does with the newborns and the elderly, where there's this weird things showing up in the pool. And I enjoyed this issue a lot. I really did. I do think there's a couple of moments later on where it took some leaps that I was not really prepared for.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all. And that killed me because I've been enjoying Batgirl so much.
No, I still enjoyed it because I was having fun with the setup at the start. I was really liking her tagging along for this paranormal stuff. The line that killed me, though, the line where it didn't drop me out of the issue, but it did make me sort of treat it in a different light, is at one point Batgirl says, oh yeah, and lots of people in the pool are, because she basically theorizes that this girl who disappeared is in another different dimension and she's trying to get back. And I'm like, okay, I like that idea, that's pretty fun. And then she says, yeah, and it's all the different bodies in the pool coming together. That would be the right circumstances for her coming back. I'm like, how would it? Why? Explain that. You can't just drop that line.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, according to my research, we wouldn't have to hold hands.
Well, I mean, she
what was
does
your
say
research, Babs?
for Pete's point, she does say the chemical makeup of the pool, the electrical energy of a group of people in the water, those are consistent with the variables necessary for teleportation based on the designs of the machine that she'd read earlier.
It felt like such a huge
I agree
leap to me.
I think this could have been, if this was 2 issues, maybe 3, and actually got a bit more of her working
because
it out.
I actually like what the plot is. I actually like that it is someone trying to get back from an alternate dimension. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I don't have a
at
problem.
the beginning, she's like, there's a logical explanation for this.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with the hand-holding jokes, because to me that was just kind of funny. Like, because the host of this YouTube thing is like, oh, let's all be in a circle and hold hands, and Barb's like, there's not actually any reason for the. Okay, whatever.
Well, and I get that it makes a comic moment, but the way that she was setting it was based off of research we wouldn't need to. And it was like, well, yeah, we made this gigantic leap, so yeah.
It's just the science part of it when she drops that line about, oh, this line's up for the conditions to bring someone, but I'm like, oh, come on, you can't just jump to that. You've jumped over a few steps in the process for it.
And again, why is Batgirl there? Like,
to be like, they invited her, didn't they? Because they wanted the promotion basically for the show. That was what the opening bit was.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I still had a lot of fun with the issue. I want to point out a couple of
it's not so much
leaps.
a problem. It was just a wondering going, because when she's in the pool in a bathing suit with the mask on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love that she has a Batgirl swimsuit.
Yeah, that was a bit funny. Yeah.
And the art I wasn't a fan of. It was way too manga for my liking. So
I really enjoyed the art.
Yeah, I thought that was fine. I was liking the sort of, to go with the paranormal, sort of the darker tones, the sort of colder kind of vibe that it was given. I still enjoyed this show a lot. I thought it was a fun oneer. It was just, it took some leaps in the science for me where I went, wait, what? Like, a couple of times. So that'd be my complaint. Especially since you've got a character from the Bat family who typically do not deal with paranormal stuff. I feel like you have to like sort of, let them be shocked by the fact that they're dealing with a ghost or something like that.
Yeah, but I also like that it's her science-y background, where she's not Luke Fox and like the Tony Stark tech. She kind of just is the more general science, and so I do like that she does take it to the college and goes to see who'd she go see first? The chemist, and then the
physicist or
physicist.
whatever. Yeah.
Physicist, yeah.
And the chemist has a crush on the physicist, and I like how she's like, as she's leaving, she's whispering like, "Yeah, good luck, buddy. Yeah, it's going well."
I liked that. It showed, her character, and plus the awkwardness with the chemist was pretty great. Came across well on the page.
Yeah.
For the most part. I was just like, it's not what I want in the Batgirl story.
I legitimately had a blast with this. I think it was a great sort of in-between arc story. It was just that one leap in the middle of, this is the right conditions to bring it. I was like, how? Why? But
I really think an extra issue, play up the mystery of it a bit more first, and then have the investigation go on a little bit longer. I think would have made it much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the reveal that it was someone who went missing trying to come back from another dimension, I think that was a really cool reveal that would have played after more mystery. Like I feel
like that's how you end the first issue, and then the second issue is how do we get it back? Yeah,
because the problem is she just says it in a speech bubble, and it's like, okay, that's a really fun idea, but that could have been a cool reveal later on. I agree. Maybe it should have been 2 issues, but I mean, like I say, I typically had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was just that one leap in the middle. I was like, how did you jump to that? Seriously. It kind of felt like maybe it was meant to be more than one issue, but for some reason, she has to have the next arc done by a certain time or whatever.
It does feel edited for time, Like there might be a couple scenes missing and whatnot. But I will say that Larson still has a knack for dialogue. Even some of that sillier stuff, she pulls it off pretty well. Like the swim instructor talking about going through what his day is and the weird stuff, I thought felt very not real, but you know what I mean,
just
like
natural,
true to life. Yeah, because usually when you read comics, if regular people dialogue is very like stunted and stilted, but here it just kind of flowed.
Also,
like it should.
I want to briefly mention the last page has an arrow level cutaway. Where the camera, as it were, goes into the coffee and then comes back out of another cup of coffee where the girl's now like sort of recuperating their apartment. I thought that was amusing. Yeah. That made me chuckle.
You can see the camera movement in it, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Yep.
You can just go whoosh, back out, but then another scene.
Yeah, you can hear the flash.
Yeah, you can. You can hear the sound effect. Well, that'll take us on to our next book. Although before I do that, there was actually a good 20-minute break between the last book and us starting this section because technical faults, and it was scary for a minute. I wanted everyone to know at home the mindset.
Yeah, it was all Peter's fault.
How was it my computer?
It's your technology.
I didn't invent it.
You own it.
It was Ascalon.
Yeah, it was Ascalon. No, it was some sort of Marvel virus. They heard us talking shit about Legacy. They wanted to sabotage.
Silence! It was Hydra.
Alright, but yeah, that'll take us on to Supergirl being Super number 4. Mariko Tamaki writing and Joelle Jones on art. This is the final part of this story. We really liked the first 3 issues, but we're looking forward to this one.
Yep.
And I think it stuck the landing.
It did.
To use a flying metaphor.
So I have a shelf in my room that I put all my favorite Superman stories on once they're collected. Once this gets collected, this will go. Even though it's not Superman, exactly. I feel like this is one that I'll hand to people who are like, hey, you want to read comics? Here's a good example of something to read.
Oh yeah, this is one of those perfect standalone things. Although, I mean, I could see them doing a sequel if they want to. That said, I don't think they need to. As much as there are some things set up at the end, the ending actually works as a very, like, you kind of know what the rest is going to be just because of comics knowledge. You don't really need it necessarily. The story was coming of age. The story was getting up to this point.
We'll get there, but when I turned the page and there was a certain character that showed up, I was like, oh.
The last page or the person before the last page?
Person before the last page.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I freaked out because there was a moment where our friend showed her the phone. Oh yeah, there's all these news stories about Metropolis, and you see this blurry photo, and I'm like, oh shit, they're actually going there.
Well, yeah, because up to this point, it's kind of been like she's been essentially doing Clark's journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought she was instead of him in this world.
And that's what I thought too, and that's how I was selling it to a guy at the shop. I was like, it's kind of like Supergirl if Superman never existed. And then you get to that reference of Dolly going, yeah, I've been looking at the news and it's super weird, just suddenly. And so I was like, oh no, here we go.
Yeah, but it was exciting. I didn't feel cheated because it was like, well,
No,
the
me
point of the
neither.
story was that he didn't exist. It's just no one knew about him yet because he was still,
Right.
he hadn't came out as Superman yet. So no, that because ultimately what the issue builds up to is her going to see him. She's finally going to meet someone who she can connect with because she tries to connect with Tynion, but Tynion, of course, we've seen in the last issue he's actually a bit unstable and is happy to murder whoever he feels like.
Yeah, a bit unstable is like I would go with homicidal maniac.
Granted, he's probably got some form of kryptonite poisoning. We don't know what he really was about before this. You know, I don't think he was a Phantom Zone, refugee.
No. It sounds like he's went crazy after 15, 20 years of this experimentation.
Torture.
Yeah. He tells the story of being an ambassador. And I believe that.
Oh, I believe it as well. Because I think what sells it as well is that when she tells him that Krypton doesn't exist anymore, he doesn't know that. He thinks Krypton's still there to go back to.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it doesn't exist. It's done. Like, it blew up. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But yeah, as much as, like, I think this has balls, this series, because it never felt the need to put her in the suit. I respect that, actually. Because I think it would have been very easy to do. Because this issue does have a lot of the kind of where you'd expect it to go in a final issue of a sort of origin, because she does kind of have to go and save someone. Dolly's kind of the damsel, and she even cracks a joke, what's it like to be the damsel if she's carrying her down? But like she goes and stays, it's on a not finished yet high rise, skyscraper, which again is a very superhero finale setting. There's always these buildings ready to go.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the "You Got Me, Who's Got You," but because they already know each other, and there's but there's a back and forth there. That's very Superman, the movie.
Yeah. And obviously throughout the whole thing as well, because at the start she's going to run away with Tanon, but she quickly learns what kind of person he is. And I like that it's ultimately when it's like, and this is again very classical, it's kind of like, when Zod's try to tell, on the first meeting between Zod and Superman, there's typically, let's rebuild Krypton, let's do so. But then Superman realizes, wait, no, you want to murder everyone else to build Krypton or enslave them?
You want to rebuild Krypton at the price of Earth, and that's kind of, he wants his revenge, which she understands because he wasn't treated well, and the teacher that I forget the character's name, but their gym teacher that was responsible for the earthquakes is responsible for one of her best friend's death. So Kara's in this weird gray area where she wants her to pay a price for causing all this chaos, but she doesn't want to be like Tanon and just explode her.
Because as she even points out, she actually has lived with other humans her whole life. She knows them. She understands better people and bad people. She knows the distinction. It's not everyone's the same. And that's kind of ultimately the heart of this story, is that she ultimately learns that no, I do have a family. This is my home, and I want to protect it.
I do like the moment though where she's like, but I thought I knew, the teacher. It's like I thought she was a good person. I thought I could trust her, but so maybe my judgment isn't as accurate as I think it is. She questions it still.
She's still like 16, 17? Like she's still in high school.
Yeah.
She still has a whole lot to learn. But yeah, and I like at the end where she makes the decision to go out and really kind of find herself. It is very Clark leaving Smallville.
It is. It's that exact thing. It's this Superman the movie when he's out in the cornfield and he's like, Mother, I have to go off and find who I am. This is that moment almost exactly.
But she's still talking with Dolly and stuff, and she talks about how her dad gave her gold because he doesn't believe in credit cards.
Well, first of all, the Ron Swanson comparisons are bad.
Oh my God.
Secondly, I like the idea that she's still in contact with Dolly because mobile phones exist. I feel like if he'd made Superman the movie now, he probably would still text Martha. like, I'm okay, Mom, I'm fine, I'm just up in the Arctic.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Finding my birthright and whatnot. But yeah, it was a very satisfying conclusion. And then we knew Luthor Core was it Luthor Core or LexCorp?
LexCorp,
They use them interchangeably. LexCorp. So we know it's them from the previous issue that's responsible for experimenting on Tanon, and the science or the PE teacher gets away, right?
Yeah. She's alive at the end when she's talking to him.
Yeah, and so they're coming and looking, and because she knows about Kara and whatnot, and it keeps that thread going. That LexCorp is very invested in these Kryptonians, and they're checking out her house.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because they're asking the parents questions and stuff.
Yep.
Do you know what moment I love actually? There's a moment where Tanon's got Dolly and he's holding her off the ledge and he drops her and then he tries to hold Kara back from saving her and she eventually fights out. And I love the page of her flying down and you get the flashbacks of the first issue where her other friend died and she couldn't save her. And it's this weight of this.
It pushes her.
This could be a great moment anyway, just with her swooping down and saving her friend. But there's so much weight here because she couldn't do it in the first issue.
Yeah.
It worked really well. It was really.
Well, it's a not again. This is not happening again. I'm not going to let it. Yeah. And it kicks her into that extra gear to get down there.
I love how the reaction when she's caught is, "Oh, I'm not going to die." That's awesome.
Yeah. I like Dolly as a character too. She's again, there doesn't need to be a sequel, but if they wanted to do a sequel, you can have all my monies.
They've built up some supporting cast. They've set up this seed that the gym teachers with Lex. They're looking into things.
Yeah, that's the reveal that I was building to. Is she goes back to the car and Lex Luthor's Chrome Dome himself. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, even Dolly seems like she's going to have a new girlfriend. She ran into a friend who's into the same, artsy-fartsy museums that she is, and she's all happy about it. And still, Tanon's not caught either. Like, Tanon's still out there. He gets away. Like, that's why you think, oh, maybe there are plans for, like, a sequel, because everyone gets away. There's no bad guy caught, done, neat bow. It's all... but again, I don't think it necessarily needs to be, but that part in particular feels like it probably is. There is maybe some ideas for
that with the introduction of Lex, because it feels like you don't need that unless you're planning a sequel.
That said, the final page though, the final moment where she's in Metropolis and someone says, "Oh, there's something going on out there." Oh, it's him, and she goes up, and the final page is Superman is there, and she's like, "Hey, can we talk for a second?" And it's just a shock in his face that this girl exists. It's like him.
There's someone like her, and that's always been kind of the underlying of this series is she feels like an outsider even though she's surrounded by other people.
Yeah, she's alone. Yeah,
and even though she has her friend group and all of her friends kind of feel the same way. When she's at the diner, she orders a salad with French fries and a milkshake, like
a friend.
Exactly. So, and now that they both don't have to be by themselves.
Well, I think there's an obvious criticism you can make with like, oh, you're just going to make her like female Clark, where she's on the farm and she's got all these things. But in this story, it actually helps the point of the story because, like, they can relate to each other in such a level. Not only are they both aliens, not only are they both grown up with powers, they both grew up in farms and felt alone. Like, there's so much parallels between them that
exactly.
And also, I just love the final caption here, or narration is "Here we go." It's like, I'm ready to start my life now and be who I am, and not question who I am every second minute.
Can we just talk about how good the makeshift cape is?
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. Over her back, pinned to her backpack.
It's fantastic.
And it even has like the golden outline.
The yellow trim.
The border, trim. That's the word. And just that pose is a classic kind of Supergirl pose too.
Yeah, even Superman. Like, what's that? That pose is from a famous cover, right? I'm not imagining that Superman pose.
Yeah, no, we've seen him do it before.
Yeah. So, no, really cool.
Yeah, if you haven't read it, like much like Dead Man, like they're killing it with these. Bi-monthly.
Yeah, the prestige format.
Yeah, prestige format ones. And this almost could be the de facto Supergirl origin at one point. Kind of how they did Killing Joke, and that was prestige originally, Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Like, I could see them taking stuff from this and incorporating it into a version of Supergirl down the line. Yeah. It wouldn't upset me.
No, I'd go right with that.
But no, it
was a great series overall.
Yep.
Yeah, good coming of age story. Fit into the Superman mythos and its own way.
I know the Dead Man one only got a paperback. I really hope this gets a hardcover to put on my shelf.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
We can hope.
I feel like both of them really deserve deluxes.
Oh, they do, yeah.
They really do. I did like this more than the Dead Man one, but they're both fantastic.
Well, yeah, they're different flavors. It's a really good orange and then a really good apple. Yeah. I was gonna go. One's a pizza and one's a sandwich, and they're both delicious. But
pizza clearly wins.
No, it depends on the sandwich.
No, it doesn't. Pizza always wins.
Yes, it does. No. Connor, I bet you put pineapple on pizza too.
I bet he does. He's got
I normally don't, but if it's there, I don't mind it.
Oh no! See, you're a sympathizer. That's even worse.
I know I cannot now. I feel like I need to ruin the world.
I'm gonna order a meat feast or like a chicken barbecue, spicy chicken, something like that. But
at least
if I'm given a slice of ham and pineapple, I'm gonna enjoy it because that's still good pizza.
At least these filthy pineapple and pizza lovers commit to it. They say we believe in this. They're wrong, but they believe in it. Whereas you're just like, oh yeah, no, I suppose it's fine.
I'm never going to oppose it, but I probably wouldn't order it. I think it's quite a boring pizza.
I'm allergic to it, and all this talk just made me sneeze.
I think it's a boring pizza to order, so I never would. But if I'm given it, you're damn right I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm gonna say they're two different, distinct. That I like them both, but. I like that they're different.
I love how we ended up in a pizza debate and Tim's not even here to start it. We just did that all on our own.
I'll be proud when he listens to this.
See, well.
So, Supergirl being Super number 4 was really, really good. Art was great as well. It was consistent with what we'd had in the last 3 issues.
Yeah.
Joelle Jones killing it, as she had been. So, but no, that is that. So check it out. If you hadn't been reading the single issues, by all means, definitely get the trade, either digitally or when it comes out on paperback or hardcover, whatever it is. It's well worth reading if you're a Superman fan, so or Supergirl fan more specifically, which you might be. So, all right, that'll take us on to sort of the back half of the show with all these other bits. We'll try and keep these a little bit shorter, although I'm not necessarily promising anything. Teen Titans number 9, Benjamin Percy writing, Khoi Pham on art. Was I the only one who read this, or Matt, did you read this as well?
No. I read it.
Okay.
I keep threatening I'm going to drop it just for time.
Yeah.
But I get to these. Like, this is much better than the previous Deathstroke stuff. So we're back to what I enjoy with Percy, having Beast Boy crack jokes about turning into a T-Rex and being big on social media.
Oh, yeah. See,
that killed me.
He has Starfire filming his superheroics on her phone, or on his phone, so that he can put it on social media later. And he's eating a car as a T-Rex, and he's like, and she's like, what? And he spits it out. He's like, did you get that? It was all very amusing. But the issue, of course, focused mainly on Aqualad here, Jackson.
Still doesn't have a full name.
He doesn't. He doesn't have the hero name yet. He's just called his regular name. But it's about him. His mother comes to see him, and she reveals that she has water powers. Because obviously we've been hinting at Black Manta as his dad, but Black Manta doesn't actually have water powers, which makes sense that his mother's actually where the powers come from. But she's in hiding because she doesn't want Black Manta to find him, which is why they went. She took him to the driest place in the
Mexico.
planet. Yeah, the desert. Which is pretty fun stuff.
So I wonder if she's from the same colony as Mara, because Mara can do the hydrokinesis stuff.
Possibly.
And she's really good at it. Where we see that Jackson needs a little help. He has those cool handles in the backpack that helps him do it.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, because Damien gives him this cool thing. It's basically water lightsabers, to put it into into context.
That's what he had in Young Justice.
Oh, is that what he had in Young Justice as well? Yeah. Well, he gets them in this then, and he makes the water form out of it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so that's basically the gist of the issue. There's one scene with Kid Flash where Raven comes to see him and tries to sort of kind of cheer him up as best as Raven can do. And Kid Flash is like, nah, I'm going to go and try my luck with Deathstroke, which I know is crazy, but I kind of trust him for some reason. And it's basically just an exit scene for him to go off into Deathstroke's team for next issue. So that was the thing. But of course, Black Manta is in the issue. He's paying attention. He sees Aqualad on the news. He shows up at the end to fight his mother, and that's the big cliffhanger at the end, is that he shows up and she's like, oh, Manta, you again, and like they're about to fight, and that's the end of the issue. But I thought it was fun. Obviously, I think it's good to give Aqualad a bit of time because he's probably the least known quantity on the team.
Yeah.
And
he's basically a new character.
Pretty much, yeah. Because he shows up late because he gets called out to go and help with the when Beast Boy's the T-Rex thing. Mm-hmm. But he shows up after they've already done everything. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here." And he's like, "You should have called me earlier. I'm not Kid Flash."
Yeah.
Which I thought was an amusing line.
And he says it kind of like, as if Kid Flash was. Not that he wasn't well liked, but he put up with a lot of Damian's BS. So. He's not going to fill that void of Kid Flash. So,
well, yeah, I think that's basic. Though he's just saying that I'm not got super speed. You have to call me enough times so I can get here.
but I took Percy saying that like there's some team dynamic stuff there too.
Yeah. That's fair. Art's still great. Khoi Pham, bright, colourful, bold, angular lines. It's good stuff. But no, I'm glad they're giving some attention. I like the idea that it's going to do kind of what Detective was doing, and that each arc might focus on a different team member now, and like build them up. Maybe we'll get one for Beast Boy, maybe we'll get one for Starfire, Raven. I'd expect them all to get their own sort of spotlight over the next few arcs.
Yeah.
But no. So that was it's a fun issue. That'll take us on to Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps number 23. Robert Venditti writing, Ethan Van Sciver on art. You two read this, by all means. Take it away, Connor. See, I remember to specify this.
There you go.
I'm in the hot seat. So this is fulfilling on the cliffhanger that we had before, that maybe a Green Lantern murdered a Yellow. And that's what most of the issue is about, just figuring out, is it true? If it is true, how do we stop the evidence getting out and ruining the relationship?
Yeah, and so it kind of shows that John is this bridge builder.
Yeah.
But he's an architect, but he's not going to be okay with someone coming down and blowing up his bridge.
That's it. He's like, even if it did happen, I want to deal with this internally. I don't want this public. I don't want this ruining everything else.
Yeah. So who does he get to go take care of this, to get the evidence?
Only the best team possible.
Well, judging from the smirk in Matt's face, there's only one guess I've got for it.
Go on.
Well, Guy Gardner.
But it's...
And?
Arkillo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are the best. So it should be good cop, bad cop, right? But this is, bad cop, bad cop. Yeah, bad cop, worst cop. There you go. Like
bad cop, monster cop.
Yeah, there you go.
There is a fantastic running joke where Guy says, we'll need a wrecking ball.
Yep.
And Arklow interprets ball as in the dance.
The dance.
And he thinks it'll be like a dance, but with destruction. And
which kind of totally is Arkillow's thing, right? Like he's violent, but does it in a graceful way.
To the point where you have Guy in the middle of the fight going, right, cue the Aerosmith.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I loved.
And then again, you got Venditti's weak point with Hal. Like, I don't know what to do with him, because can't put him in Green Lanterns, because I don't want him taking shine away from Simon and Jessica.
I like Simon and Jessica in Justice League as well, I suppose, but just put him in Justice League team or something.
Yeah, because, again, how is the least interesting plot going on here? And it's just basically, John tasks him with finding out if this is true. Like, go follow up some leads of Green Lanterns. And, and of course it's Tomar too.
Yeah. Right?
And that's why he's been acting sick, because you find out at the end that he's been holding the other Zudarian. I can't remember his name. I think it was Romat Rue. But his Sinestro Corps ring. He's been using all of his will, basically, to keep it from finding a replacement.
Yeah.
But yeah, Guy and Arkillo they get their mission done, and tear up the Raiders storage facility.
They bring back the thing that holds the data recording is this little purple alien figure, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the fact that this is the thing that holds the key to their entire relationship right now is fantastic.
And I feel like this isn't going to blow up on them at all in the slightest, with the Raiders and them,
No, of course
doing
not.
less than legal means. But yeah, so we found out that the Zudarians are going to be in trouble, which makes sense because the first issue that I got back into it here was that kind of Legends of the Green Lantern Corps,
Yeah.
where we had the Zudarian grandmother telling the story how she was once a Green Lantern. So, kind of feel that Tomar 2's days are numbered here.
Well, that's
Quite
fine. That's why you
possibly.
have Tomar 3.
Hey now.
So the other plot you have is the Kyle and Sarnik stuff, and Kyle's still being really pushy and a bit of a dick, and
Yeah.
he's not particularly enjoyable right now either, to be honest.
No, but I get that because he's dealing with some heavy
He is.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's like in Back to the Future where he's like, "What do my kids become assholes, Doc? Or do I become an asshole?" He's like, "No, it's your kids." That's what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
His-
Yeah, and you do have Killua going, "Hey, dude, chill,"
yeah.
basically. Which is
Well, and I like
it's
that how
amazing.
Sornik deals with it too, because she's like, "No, we've been over this. I'm happy with the Sinestro Corps. I've changed them for the good. You were the mini colored Rainbow Lantern.
Yeah.
Like you of anybody should know that you're not defined by one color."
Well, that's it. He should know that yellow isn't inherently bad because he
Right.
harnessed it for however long this
Exactly.
supposedly happened for now. So it's like, yeah, it's just it can be used for good as well. And obviously, then she goes and sees the oh God, what's the villain's name from the last arc? I've forgotten again. Sarko. And obviously, we got the reveal where he said that he was their kid, and
Right.
she's finding out for herself. She does an autopsy, DNA scan, and it tells her, and she looks kind of angry.
Yeah, because
that it
Kyle's keeping it from her.
Yeah. It was interesting as she was discovering. He started disappearing. His body started disappearing, and it was the idea that her discovering this is ruining their relationship because he kept it from her. So to the point where this guy now never exists because that never happens.
But she gets into some timey-wimey stuff because if he never existed,
How did the last arc exist, and how did she find out about him not existing? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
but
going to pretend that's not a problem.
No, that's fine. Again, it's overthinking time travel stories, which is what I do.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's a very good issue apart from Hal, and Kyle's a bit iffy, but mostly it's still pretty good.
Sarko kind of sounds like slang for being sarcastic. Like something that a kid would say, like, "Oh, you're being pure Sarko."
Yeah. It does. Art's great again, obviously. Van Sciver.
Yeah.
I didn't read it. I can only give thoughts on what you're telling me.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I agree on the art too. It's Van Sciver. There's nothing that I can't say about him that hasn't been said. Like he's a solid artist, especially as far as Green Lantern's concerned.
Yeah. Best moment of the issue is when the sniper's lining up on Guy and Arkelo jumps in the way and takes the shot, and then Guy's like, "Oh, now I'm pissed," and shoots back, and it's pretty great.
I agree.
All right. That'll take us on to Batman Beyond, number 9. Dan Jurgens writing, Bernard Chang on art. Me and Matt read this, and this is, of course, continuing from the reveal last issue that Damian Wayne is now the new Ra's al Ghul. Not Malcolm Merlyn, just in case people are hoping. He used to be Ra's al Ghul, but not anymore. But no, so we have this. So basically, the gist of the issue is we have Damian fighting Terry, but we have Bruce on the way because he needs to get there because he knows that the suit's dangerous, Damian's dangerous, he needs to get there. But I think a lot of the issue is the flashbacks. We find out kind of that Damian put on that suit himself when Bruce first retired, and it went bad. He ended up killing a lot of people as a result.
Well, he took out the League of Assassins.
Yeah, which actually pleased Raz because then that sort of like Raz sort of took him in after. It's like, oh, you're now on your path. You've been screwed up by this suit. You're now a murdering psychopath. Come to the fold, my grandchild.
and this returns Raz to the traditional the only way to save the world's to murder everybody on it, so they can't ruin it anymore. And Damian seems to be in league with that, but more importantly, he kind of owns up to what he did in the suit. Like, he doesn't blame the suit, whereas Bruce does. He was like, no, I was in full control the whole time. Whereas we see Terry kind of struggling with the AI. Like, it does stuff that he doesn't necessarily want it to do, but it's doing it anyways.
Yeah,
so,
there's kind of like a almost inner struggle to fight with it. He's trying to like combat himself. So we get a lot of Bruce like sort of traipsing about in the snow and complaining about how old he is and how this is a really difficult climb now for him.
Yeah, he said it would take him a while when he was in shape, but now that he's out of shape, it's going to take all day.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't break a sweat in his prime, but now he doesn't even know if he'll be able to do it at all. So he's deeply concerned about that. So no, it was kind of a fun issue. Do you know what I like about Batman Beyond? I like kind of how light and breezy it is. It's a really quick read. I felt like I got through this super quick. We end with the cliffhanger, of course, is that Damian actually beats Terry and is standing over him with a sword, ready to kill him when Bruce arrives. So we kind of arrive kind of at the big climactic moment that's going to spin into the next issue. But yeah, that was pretty much it. There was the fighting itself looked good. A lot of energy in the art, which is good. It's not super detailed. It has quite a clean style to it, but it works well.
It very reminds me of the animation on the cartoon, where just the clean, crisp lines and almost Tim. But this is not Tim-esque like that was. This is definitely Chang has his own style, but it definitely borrows from the show, I would say. Especially his Damian. His Damian looks really good, like. Because he's got the all gold armor on, but you could tell that he's a Wayne too. So
yeah, I almost like they were playing a fine line, like they were trying to like have him sound like Damien, but obviously he's older, so they wanted to tone it down a little bit because he's maybe matured. And I'm not sure if they quite hit the exact right balance of the light, but I appreciated the attempt, if nothing else.
Yeah, I agree there. He's still kind of a shit, but he's a 40-something-year-old. Version of it.
He's not enough of a shit. I was expecting more disputes, but I do like that he keeps calling Terry the Pretender.
Yeah,
I'm going to kill this Pretender. That's fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's personal. It's your dad has adopted a new kid, and we all know how he feels about the other Bat children. He didn't he tried to kill Tim instantly. So see him do Terry.
This is true. That'll take us on to Batman, the Shadow #3, Steve Orlando and Scott Snyder writing, Riley Rossmo on art, as it's been for the last two issues as well. So the stag goes to the Joker. That was kind of the big reveal at the end of the last issue, is that he was going to go to the Joker to try and get him to work with them. And a lot of the issue kind of is that, although I think the highlight of the issue is the Shadow is like held captive in this underwater bat cave location.
It's like one of the most Snyder things he could have done.
Yeah, it's like we know he's got a moon base. He's also got a base underwater near Gotham.
Yeah, a deep sea base.
Yeah,
I have no problem believing that whatsoever.
No,
me neither.
But Alfred has him, and he's all chained up. Like you would see, like Harry Houdini when he would do his escapes. Like there ain't no way he's getting out of this.
Yeah,
but
Alfred basically it's Alfred and him debating about who knows best for what's best for Bruce and what he's doing and trying to outsmart each other. And Alfred tells stories about how he's seen horrors, and unlike Bruce, he actually does believe that there is such a thing as like magic and there is darkness and that you can't explain. Whereas Bruce always looks for an explanation. He always looks for no. There's always an answer. There's always a scientific answer to something. Whereas Alfred accepts that there is things in the shadows that they can't quite add up. And it's that kind of debate, and as it goes, basically it all boils down to this great scene where Batman does show up where the Joker and the Stag are, and he comes in. And first of all, I love that Joker's pissed that he says Stag first, because Batman like drops in like through the skylight, and he's like, Stag, Joker, as if it's on now. And he's like, I realise he's the new guy in town, but you always say me first, as he goes to swipe him with a knife. It's good stuff.
And again, that's pretty Snyder as well, because we know that Snyder addresses their relationship almost like, not that it's romantic, but like Joker does love messing with Batman. So the fact like he wouldn't address him first, he's been slighted.
It's that, and I think also beyond just their relationship, just he wants top billing. He wants to be recognized that he's the most important guy in the room.
Exactly.
Uh,
So
the video people will be noticing that the sunlight on me
Yeah.
is getting really extreme. I am like so overblown right now, but nothing I can do about that at the moment. Apologies.
turn off the sun, Pete.
We also found out that the Shadow's been secretly training a bunch of different people. It implies that
Yeah.
without them knowing, much like Bruce, because he just thought he was being trained by Ducard, but it implies that he had some part in training of both Green Arrow and Catwoman, as well as others who have already died. And ultimately, so the Stag's thing is that he hunts the best of people, kind of like how the Shadow goes after the worst of people. So the reveal at the end is that the Stag's final victim is going to be Bruce Wayne. It's going to be Batman, because he is the best of
Right.
human beings. Is kind of the idea. So, and then the Shadow's also pissed because he's also meant to be the next Shadow. Like, ultimately, Bruce is the one who should inherit that. So,
So Stag's getting like a 2-for-1.
kinda, yeah. He's saving someone,
Yeah.
but he's also setting up his successor. I'll tell you what, I did not, when I started reading this, I was having fun with it. I did not expect this series to kind of like, I mean, how much this actually stands like in the long run, probably not.
Yeah,
but
This one made me realize it's not in continuity. It's just
Yeah.
a fun lark.
because it definitely, the way they're kind of tying in the Shadow into the entire fabric of the DCU, I'm like, okay, right, this is out of continuity, but it's a fun idea. It's a fun idea that he was behind
Yeah.
training a lot of the human fighters in the world.
Right. Well, and it kind of goes because the Shadow is like a proto superhero.
I
in the grand
guess
scheme of things.
the way you could read it is, if you want it to be true, it could be. There's
Yeah,
no
but yeah,
reason
so-
it couldn't be.
I just take everything the Shadow says as a lie because he's clouds your mind, and he's gonna kind of guide you in the direction he wants to go that's beneficial to him. So he could just be complete BS on this and training people, and we wouldn't know because he's clouding our mind as readers.
Yeah, yeah. I really like the moment once Batman shows up and he's fighting Joker and Stag. I like that Stag goes to like rip off his boot, and it's like steel underneath. He's like, "Yeah, this is reinforced. I'm not an idiot."
Yeah.
Yeah. But also like Batman's beating Stag, and he's actually winning the fight. But Joker
Yeah.
sneaks up behind him and like starts to strangle him with a bit of wire. And he's like, all those years watching you with sidekicks, like you always snuck up on me and beat me up when I was beating them to a pulp with a crowbar. You know what? I've learned a few things from that. I snuck up on you this time. So I like that. Those are fun plays on kind of the mythology and stuff. And of course, Shadow reveals that he could get out the chains at any time because that's who he is. So he goes off to save Batman. That's kind of the final cliffhanger. And we see Batman in this glorious 2-page spread where he's strung up almost like a crucifix kind of pose. And the Joker's basically invited all the other Gotham villains. Man-Bat's there, Penguin's there, Scarface, Riddler, Scarecrow's there. The whole shebang. They're all there to
Just
watch
about
Batman
everyone.
die. So,
Yeah.
that's my stuff. Riley Rossmo's art's still really good. With the exception of those short-ass bat ears, which I'm not fond of. But other than that,
I like
that's
his
really good.
Joker. The Joker's really good. I like he's kind of skeletal, but still has like a form.
Yeah, I have to admit, I kind of like the idea that he was wearing a t-shirt throughout most of this, but it was one of those
Yeah.
t-shirts with the tux design on it.
Mhm.
That's what he was wearing. I thought that was pretty fun.
Because of course he would.
Of course, yeah, that's...
Yeah, he's a party formal.
Yeah. So, we end with the Shadow having to come to save Batman, which I know Matt probably loves the fact that Batman is the one that needs to be saved.
I mean, but he's the next Shadow, so
It makes me wonder, how's this going to end? Are we going to get some sort of weird, very out of continuity thing where Batman actually literally becomes the Shadow, but he's still Batman? So now he can disappear into the shadows?
No, it'll be him rejecting it. He'll
Yeah.
reject
Yeah,
being the Shadow
I can see
because
that.
he
He's
wants
doing
to
it
be
his
his
way.
own thing. Yeah.
I can see that. It's
Well,
also
because he's not going to kill. He's got to kill the bad guys too, and he's
That's
not
true.
going to do
That's
it.
true. It's just a super fan fiction-y thing, isn't it? The idea that Batman
Yeah,
actually
it
becomes
is.
the Shadow and then goes into shadows, and he's a proper creature of the night at
The
that point.
costume would essentially be the same, but he wears a red scarf around his mouth, like just superfluously. Like,
No, I think he'd wear the hat as well, but the ears would go up through the hat.
okay.
Come out the side.
Yeah. That's what But no, it's good fun. I'm still enjoying the series. It's getting a lot more wackier than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Because the
Well,
first
I
issue,
guess we'll be.
yeah, the first issue was basically a murder mystery, and then the reveal
Yeah.
at the end that the shadows around. Whereas this is like, no, we're getting into wacky territory where we're completely shaking up the entire like DCU with what's going on. But no, it's just like you say, it's pulpy, still fun. So
Yep.
good stuff. So that'll take us on to the final book of the week, which is one that just Connor read. I'm not going to quite call this Connor's Corner. That name is now
It's reserved.
that's reserved for the which reminds me, by the way, your next Red Hood is
You said that at the start.
next week. But I've remembered again, and now it's made me happy again, and I'm
Well,
smiling.
we'll see. We'll see what the schedule's looking like if it's next week or the week after.
Yeah, it could change the week depending on busy schedule. That is true. Unless you got
Yeah.
4, in which case you'd have to do one every week. But
Well, yeah, that
Yeah.
would change it, wouldn't it?
you've only got the one you need to do per month, so you can bit of
A bit
flexibility.
leeway, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, the book you read that we did not is Batman Elmer Fudd Special #1. Tom King writing, and Byron Vaughn and Lee Weeks on art. So
Just Lee Weeks credited
just
in the
3
book.
weeks.
Yeah,
Well,
don't know what
fair
happened
enough.
there. Oh, sorry, Byron Vaughn does the backup. So Lee
Ah!
Weeks
There's
Yeah,
a
that's what it is.
backup.
There's a little backup, yeah.
There you go. So I'm not completely
No, sorry about that.
ludicrous. As I Connor, he's so quick to try and correct things because he
I'm,
loves to
I'm,
be
I'm,
right.
just, I'm looking at the credits page, and we've established even in this very episode that Comixology is not always right.
That is true. That is true. But you jumped the
Yeah.
gun. So
I did. I forgot about the backup because it's separate.
Anyway, I've been hearing lots of rumblings on Twitter and the like that this was a good issue. So by all means, tell us what made Batman Elmer Fudd a must-read.
I will say that is the only reason I read this. I was hearing all the praise it was getting, and it's just 20 minutes before recording. I was like, I can fit in another comic. Go on, why not? And I'm very glad I did because it is fantastic. It is basically a noir. It completely changes all the characters. It's not like the cartoon characters at all. They're all human characters now. So
What?
yeah,
Bugs Bunny, not Bugs Human.
right. He's a criminal hitman, but Bugs is like his nickname basically. His criminal nickname.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm intrigued.
Because he eats carrots and he likes carrot juice, and he's got like rabbit teeth almost. He's got big front teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So they call him Bugs Bunny. And Elmer Fudd is also a hitman, who is in general his whole backstory in this is when he grew up, he had to hunt to survive, and if it was duck season, you ate duck. If it was rabbit season, you ate rabbit. If you didn't catch them, tough shit, you starve. And the extension of that is when he grew up, it was like, I need to make money. I'm going to do this. This is what I can do. This is what I'm going to do to survive. So it starts with him. I want to say that, first of all, the narration boxes, immediately, it has his lisp in it. So it's all read in his voice like that. Lots and lots of W's in this comic. You will never see more W's in an issue. Yeah. So that's maintained. Core of the character is intact.
Hunting wabbits.
Oh, he says that a lot, actually.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Like, a thing he says a lot is, my name is Elmer Fudd. I'm hunting wabbits. Shh. So he goes into this bar, and he
Connor, I hate you so much right now.
You want to read it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I hate when you do this.
Yeah, but this is just a
couldn't
one-shot. I'm not getting you hooked on a whole series.
I know, you couldn't leave well enough alone, though.
I know. So he goes into this bar, and Bugs is sat there, and he's like, look, I know you did it. And Bugs is like, yeah, I pulled the trigger, but I was paid to do it. I was hired. And he goes, right, who hired you? He goes, Bruce Wayne. So he leaves him. He's like, all right, well, we'll finish our drinks. I won't kill you for now. You can stay. But at this point, he's walked into this bar. He's still in there, the whole outfit. He's got a shotgun, the lot.
And he's dressed like Elmer Fudd. He's got
he's got the hat.
brown.
Yeah, the brown, the lot.
Does Bugs have an excuse to say "What's up, Doc" at any point?
He does.
Of course he does.
I think it's what's up, Doc. ducks because he says it when Batman's around as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there other cartoon characters in this bar, or is it just Bugs and?
There's a few. You've got Tweety's there. I think there's a couple of others scattered in the bar.
No Sylvester.
Is Daffy showing up? Because I need the duck season, rabbit season thing.
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
The thing is, a lot of it's hard to tell because obviously they don't look like them now because they're all humanized. Right. So you just get like, the guy goes, I say, and then you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. But that's it. Like, there's no visual way of knowing.
Yeah, gotcha.
So he goes off to Bruce Wayne. He bursts into his mansion. He's having a party, and he shoots him. And then he cuts away thinking he's killed him, and he's like, the whole thing, it turns out, is it's revenge because Bugs has killed his girlfriend, and he's like he's pissed off. He's like, right, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill the person who killed her. So he goes and kills Bruce Wayne, but obviously doesn't kill him because then as he's driving away, Batman shows up, and we see that the whole thing, he's pissed off because his girlfriend's dead, but all they left was blood and a carrot. So that he knew who it was. It was like a calling card. But there was no body, and that's why he's so furious, because he can't mourn, he can't bury her. And then you get a little shootout with Batman. Action looks fantastic, because Lee Weeks does an incredible job. I don't know if you're much familiar with his work in general, but I'm a fan.
I know the name.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what he'd done, but I know I've read stuff with his name popping up before.
Yeah, he's very good, and this is all like incredibly moody. Like I said, it's shot like it looks like a noir, like very dim, lots of just light from the side and in the shadows. So then you have them. Once he realizes that he's being set up, he's like, "No, I know it wasn't Bruce Wayne," because obviously he doesn't say why, but he's like, you just have to trust me on this. And Elmer's like, "Well, I don't trust you, but I don't really trust Bugs either. So let's go back to see what he says." And they go in and they have a big bar fight. Basically, it's just a big brawl with them taking everyone out, and it's pretty great. And Bugs is just sat there the whole time, just waiting for it to finish. And that's when they clear everyone out, and it's just the two of them left standing. They're sitting there. That's when he says, "What's up, docs?" And he asks, "Why did you kill her?" And then from the side, someone else comes in and says, "Because I asked him to do it." And there she is. She's there the whole time, and she's set it up. She's faked her own death because she wanted to get away from them. Yeah, exactly. And it's fantastic. And so they end up just all sitting there and going, "Well, we're all played. We might as well sit and have a drink." And obviously it ends with the barman going, "That's all, folks."
Oh man,
it's well worth reading.
I'm gonna have to read this because you're like the third person to tell me to read it.
So then we got the backup, which is much more traditional. Bugs is actually a rabbit again. It's very cartoony. You got Bugs sitting there on next to a tree. Sign says "Rabbit Season." He's having a little nap, and shotgun comes into his face, and he basically pulls his pranks. And he goes, "Hey, it's not rabbit season, it's bat season." And Elmer's like, "Yeah, but if it's bat season, where are all the bats?" And he goes, "1 second," and he pulls out a bat signal. And out pops Batman and goes, "Justice." And Bugs is like, "See? Bat season." And so so Elmer shoots him. He's like, "Bat season." And it just goes around for a bit. And he's like, "Yeah, but it's rabbit season." And he's like, "Yeah, but, it's if it's not bat season, then you just shot Batman for no reason. And, Batman, can't shoot him for no reason." So he shoots him again and goes, "Yep, it's definitely bat season." And it literally just goes around for a good few pages of this until it gets to the end where Batman, one of them crosses it out. No, Bugs crosses it out and changes it from rabbit season to Robin season after Batman calls in his reinforcements, calls in the family. All four of them are there. And then you just have them all running away because he says, "Yeah, Robin season." He's just shooting after them. And it's fun. And then Batman's like, "Hey, I should introduce you to the Joker. He likes to play pranks too." It's kind of a weird ending.
Oh, man.
It's fun.
Are we comparing the Joker to Bugs Bunny?
He is.
Is that what we're doing here?
Batman goes, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine. I think you'll hit it off. You remind me of him. He also likes jokes.
okay.
Yeah,
Weird end to the backup, but okay. It sounds like a fun issue overall. Though,
it was. It was a lot of fun.
That's fair. That's fair. That was the last book. So that takes us on to our favourites of the week. Although, of course, before we say our favourites, we will give you the results of last week's favourites for the patrons who get to vote. If you go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, you get to sign up and support the podcast, support everything else we do on the channel. And for the $1 tier or more, you get to vote on a weekly sort of favourites poll that goes up. There's a lot of sirens and noises coming from outside today. It's been a hectic day. But yeah, so the winners from last week actually line up with their own very heavily. Now, admittedly, actually, let's get Matt's favourites. I was questioning.
The only one we didn't get was his cover.
It's not a big deal. But best book went to Batman 25, which is not surprising. We all was unanimous between us, so it makes sense. Best art went to Batwoman number 4. That was a bit more split. We had a lot of different picks for that, so that was kind of a crapshoot in that sense. And then best cover agreed with me and Connor and went with the Green Arrow number 25. So that was the.
That was a pretty good cover.
Yeah, that was the patrons. Do you know what I think is weird about that cover? Not the cover itself, but the fact that they're using it to promote this next arc, and they're saying, "Oh, it starts in issue 26." Do you know they did that the preview cover at the back of some of the issues?
Yeah.
Or the start of some of the issues. They're saying, "Oh, this traveling hero, whatever it's called,
hard traveling hero."
There you go. Starting issue 26. I'm like, that's the 25 cover. That's weird. But hey-ho.
What's also weird about that is their list it says from Schmidt and Fryer on art in that preview bit, but I'm pretty sure it's Byrne who's doing 26. Because he's been posting about it a lot on Facebook. I'm seeing him post it. He's quite excited about it, understandably.
How odd. But yeah, favourites. So I guess we will start with panel of the week. Oh geez, I don't have one ready.
Oh no, me either.
So we'll go to Matt then. Matt, what was your favourite panel of the week?
There's a lot. I want to pull from Supergirl being super, but it's hard to find one just in there by itself.
I can see the dilemma.
Yeah. But I also really enjoyed the Superman family coming to Superman's aid. And
that's a goodie.
Yeah, so it's gonna involve Superman in some way. I guess I'll go super. I'll do the last page of Supergirl being super, where she has the makeshift cape and she meets Superman for the first time. In iconic poses.
That is very fair. That is definitely one that I could have picked. And makes still, I don't know. I really like that page. I really like the.
Then there's Wonder Woman too. God damn it.
Yeah, there's Wonder Woman too. Wonder Woman, of course, had some great stuff. Particularly when she gets her lasso back. That final page of that book's really good. I also really like that page with Supergirl saving Dolly and being super. I think that was a fantastic page. Obviously we're picking panel, but that was a splash page, so it was all one panel. But I also really like that final page of action, and I don't think I'm going to rank action that high in my top 5 necessarily, but that page, oofed.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Can't deny the fist pumpiness of that. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the last page of action. I'm going to go with the Super Family United.
Good.
Yeah, that's my pick. Connor.
I've settled. I'm going with the final page of Wonder Woman. I think it's a perfect way to just wrap up that run.
Can I just say how lazy we all are? We all pick final pages.
I know.
Super lazy.
I feel like it's a strange week where not a lot of things were jumping out to me as I really want that. It's mostly the final pages that were going, oh, these are the...
Do you know what it is?
So obviously with action, it's like, oh, that's a big moment. But with Wonder Woman, it's like, no, that's the subdued moment at the end.
Well, yeah, I think what it is, especially with Wonder Woman and being super, is that they're both the end of the story. So that they both have these ending moments, and action has the big fist pump. We're going to the final fight kind of thing. All right, best cover of the week. This one's actually quite hard. I feel like there's a lot of good covers.
I have a question. Are we allowed to pick a DC book that we did not cover?
Sure, why
I,
not?
I don't know. I feel like it. No, I feel like it's one that had to be on the show. Why? What would you have picked
I would have
otherwise?
gone with Suicide Squad. Otto Schmidt's cover for that is fantastic.
Did you read Suicide Squad?
Not yet. I'm gonna because it's Cedric, and I was like, yeah, it's a start of an arc. I'll give it a try, but I didn't get around to it.
No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you have to pick
Damn
one
it.
that we covered on the show. That's the rule.
All right, fine. I'll go with Batman Elmer Fudd. I think it's a great cover. You know, it's just
It
it's very
is.
simple, but it just works.
I'll have to look that up later. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I am conflicted between a few things. I feel like none of the covers are like obvious 10 out of 10. That's the one I'm picking. But there's a lot of solid like 8 out of 10s that I really like. There's like a good 4 of those potentially. But I think I'm going to settle. See, the art in Wonder Woman's really nice, but I think I want to actually pick Detective. Batman and Zatanna coming in
That one.
looks really nice. But being a
That's
super
it.
is also really nice. So that's,
With the cover, it's not just about the artwork itself. It's about the placement of the image.
yeah, the composition, and I feel like Detective has a really nice sort of shape to it because of the way the cape kind of makes this
Yeah, I
image.
know what you mean.
Whereas Wonder Woman looks really pretty, but it's very much like here's a lot of things going down the middle of the page.
Yeah.
Matt.
Mine's Supergirl being super. This you're just talking about composition.
Yeah.
Nice flow with the cape.
Oh no,
Like
it's
you feel the motion there.
nice. I think Batgirl's also got a nice cover. Just to give that a shout out. Flash is not bad as well. There's a lot of good covers.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. So that'll take us on to best art of the week. Now here's where things get really murky and interesting potentially. Although Carl looks pretty confident. He's making a face as if no, it's obvious. What are you talking about?
No, I think it is. It's Wonder Woman for me. You've got Sharp and Evely, and also they were tackling, even though it was present day, all of it. Like Evely was still tackling the segments that were relevant to her part of the story. You know, like the Veronica Cale stuff was still, that was her section, so it all still thematically tied up really nicely, and it got to have both the two Wonder Woman artists on one issue. So obviously,
Yeah.
Matt?
We're gonna make this almost a clean sweep, but it's got to be Joelle Jones for Supergirl being super.
I have to agree
It's
with
just
Matt on this one.
Fantastic all the way through. Although Wonder Woman's a close second because of the reasons
Yeah.
Connor said.
Yeah.
And also Flash is in that discussion because I did like how they dealt with the different timelines and different artists. So
I think the problem with the Flash is I was less keen on some of the art than other sections, so it kind of drags it down a bit.
Yeah, no, I dug it. I mean, I even quite like Batgirl's art for the most part, but no, I'm going with Supergirl being super as well. Joelle Jones, very consistent, very good. Obviously, Wonder Woman's up there, but
Yeah.
there's a genuine kind of, it just works so well for the coming of age story. It gives it the right feeling and tone, and I feel like I'm just repeating stuff we said about the past issues when we talked about those, but same things apply. The scholarly stuff, and as obviously that final page and all those big moments played really, really well. And then of course that page with the emotion that she's trying to save her friend, and she doesn't, because she remembers not saving the first one, and you got those flashbacks. All of it just played really well, and there was that sweeping emotion to the whole thing. So Joelle Jones, Supergirl being super. All right, top fives of the week. Who's volunteering to go first?
I will. It's easy.
All
I've
right.
already clean sweep by number one, so it's Supergirl being super.
Have you picked that for
And
everything?
then
Yeah. So.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. All right.
And then Wonder Woman, Detective Comics, The Flash. Yeah, what's gonna be the last one? Go Batman Shadow. Really had a lot of fun with that one.
Cool. Connor?
I'm going to go Wonder Woman at 1, Supergirl being super 2, Batman Elmer Fudd 3, I think 4. I'm going to go with Hal Jordan, and then 5 Detective.
Connor with the alternative man's list.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Supergirl being super at number 1, Wonder Woman at number 2, Detective at number 3, Flash at number 4, and it's not the exact same as Matt's, even though it has been up until now. I'm going to throw in Batgirl at number 5. So
Oh wow.
So there you go. That's that's our top picks this week. Of course, the poll for episode 58, which is this one, will be up before the end of the weekend for the patrons, and then you can go and vote. You got until we start recording next week to put your thoughts in and picks and whatnot. But that is us. So that leaves me to tell you about what's coming next week. So what is coming next week? That's a very good question. So week 1 of July. Man, it's July already. It's years flying. But we have Batman number 26, we have Deathstroke number 21, Green Arrow number 26, Green Lantern's number 26, Nightwing number 24, Superman number 26, and we're not covering these, but also out is Bane Conquest number 3, Cyborg 14, Harley Quinn 23, and Justice League 24. Is anything else popping up that's been pushed from a previous week that I might be...
I'm just having a scan, I'm not seeing anything.
No?
You got the Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka Volume 2 is there, which obviously...
Oh, that's exciting. That's cool.
Notable.
That's cool.
But,
that's cool.
That's everything.
Well, good. So yeah, it's a lighter week. Week 1s have been proven to be consistently a bit lighter than the rest of the month, which is nice. Gives us a week.
And it does mean Red Hood will probably be next week.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're doing Red Hood next week. Yeah,
it's likely, unless something gets in the way.
Funny.
It's likely.
It was funny actually because David Short, who made us the new buttons, I'll put them both up so people can remember what they look like. Yeah, they're nice. Look at them. They're lovely. He when he sent me these images and he said, "Oh, I made these new images." He also mentioned, "Oh, by the way, we're almost approaching a week 1, which means Connor's about to read Red Hood the Outlaws issue 8. Best of luck to him," I believe was the phrase that was in the message.
Luck is for losers.
Oh, that's a promising sign, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very promising. But no, so I'll take those buttons away, so we have a nice clean video for the exit. But that's us. There you go.
I was going to say, we did some extra stuff this week. We did the Black Magic first volume for the Patreons.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, obviously we do the odd extra little non-DC comics video for Patreon.
And I did want to mention that obviously we did a spoiler-free session saying, "Oh, you should basically go and read this," and it is on sale on Comixology at the minute. It's half off, so it's like $3.99. So definitely go and grab that.
Yeah, we had a spoiler-free section, so we gave our thoughts on it without spoilers and then talked about the plot and stuff. That was the Volume 1 trade, which is issues 1 to 5. Issue 6 came out this week. We will have an issue 6 video up on Patreon as well. And that's one we'll be doing issue to issue as it comes out as a bonus on Patreon. But speaking of Patreon, go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. All the bonus stuff is in the $5 tier. The voting stuff's for the weekly picks are in the $1 tier. The $5 tier also has the vote for what we do as an extra in the 5th weeks, which I think the next one's August, so we're not too far away from another one of those. But good, go and check out that. You can support the podcast. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz. Like, subscribe, give us a good review, all the rest of that, all that kind of stuff. All of it helps us out. Individual Twitters, I'm at Wibble89, Connor's at ConnorRyan94, Matt's at MattofSteel57, and he missed this episode 57 last week, which he was upset about when he realised.
Yeah, but I got to meet Jason Fabok, so that was pretty dope.
Oh yeah, how did that go? Was he nice? Was he pleasant?
Yeah, he's very, very nice, and he
shared some little tidbits with you, didn't he?
Yeah. So I was going on about how I love the Batman issue with the 9-panel grid, and Saturn Girl, because I'm a Legion fan, and he said originally it paid more homage to Watchmen, but someone, he didn't say who, liked it so much more for something else that they pulled it, and no one ever gets to see that art now because it's his and he's not allowed to. So, but there was originally a different sequence for Saturn Girl. Yeah, so get to thinking what it could be.
I've got a funny feeling that the person who pulled this might be named Johns, and it might be showing up in Doomsday Clock. It's just a feeling.
That's what I said. I go, so is there maybe a Doomsday Clock? He goes, I didn't say that, but I did not say it. That was his line. He's like, you're clearly smart enough to put it together. But yeah, super nice guy. Very, very much, grateful that people have a line to meet him. The dude's super young too. Like, I didn't realize he was that young until you see him in person. So the fact that he's pumping out the amount that he does, it was pretty cool. I think. Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. So no, that has been episode 58 of Comics in the Multiverse, also the end of the June books as well. Looking ahead to July, of course, I told you it was coming next week, but I just want to mention we do have the next, Dark Days one shot, the casting, that's coming in a couple of weeks. So we're getting to some meaty stuff, and then August, of course, kicks the event off proper. But that is us for episode 58. That has been another fun-filled, exciting, action-packed 2 hours, or it's been a kind of mediocre, alright, yeah, you wouldn't throw us in a river kind of quality, which is what we aim for. We aim for just above average. I know my limits. We don't have to shoot for the moon. Lower your expectations.
Batman would be so disappointed for you. He'd be so disappointed in you.
That is my slogan for anyone who's about to meet me. I always say, lower your expectations. That's what I always say.
It's good advice.
It's good advice.
Oh, man.
And then I always exceed them a little bit because I've always just,
Yeah.
What was that noise? Like, nah, you lower them, but nah, I still don't quite do it.
No, exactly.
So, Connor's the worst. If people want to make him more buttons and visual things that upset him for the screen, by all means, I will. Anything
Obviously, the thing he really wants you to do is make me read more Red Hood.
Oh, true. But like anything that doesn't infringe copyright or anything like that, or is offensive, I will happily throw on the screen to upset Connor. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But that is us, so thank you once again for watching and or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading comic books, and always remember, never get lost in the Speed Force.
Connor Kent's real. It's not imaginary.